What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Raptors Den. We got a special edition. We are going to be talking about the top 10 Raptors of all time. I'm Adam. That's Junior. Let's go!
You got to be aware of the inbounder here if you're Philly.
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
We all know that iconic sound and where that was from. We got a real special one here, Junior. What do you think about this all-time Raptor great top 10?
If I just can interject for like 2 seconds.
Rifle it off, man.
Back on January 22nd, 2006, Jalen Rose and the Toronto Raptors were torched for 81 points at the hands of the one and only. Happy birthday, Kobe.
Would have been 43, the late, great Kobe Bryant. I had the pleasure of meeting him, and he's just a great individual. Look forward to 8/24, which is tomorrow, which is another celebration of Kobe Bryant.
Now, back to the task at hand.
Yes.
Absolutely excited about this. We have been going through all of the variations of this list, and I think we finally nailed it down to what we think is exactly the way it should be. Now, we're both day oneers, right? I was at the first ever game in the Sky Dome. Horrible as it was nice to have basketball here in Toronto.
Absolutely.
So, to get to this point, I mean, we've been through the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, the lefts, the rights, the I'm done with this team, and oh my God, I can't believe they just did this. So I think this is a perfect celebration to kind of kick off training camp and see where we are.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the Raptors are coming home for the season, the 2021-2022 season. Obviously, Masai has re-signed, and he has seems like a lifetime contract, getting paid $15 million a year. This list was not an easy one to come by for a top 10 of the Raptors. There's been significant contributors over the years during the highs and lows of the seasons. But I think we did a pretty close job here in hammering down the top 10 overall contributors, and we have a few factors. Junior, do you want to talk about the factors that went into this list here?
Yeah, let me just pull them up again because they keep slipping my mind. So the first one is important. It's franchise impact. So what they did for the franchise. Number two is the community impact. So outside of being a great basketball player, what did you do for the community?
Yes.
You know, whether the charitable efforts, the things that you did kind of around the city. The third is their career as a Raptor, which is obviously important. And then their success as a Raptor, which you'll see in a few of these guys, that was pretty much the only reason why they're on the list.
Yes. All right. Let's start it up. Okay, here we go. At number 10, we have Fred VanVleet. 283 games as a Raptor, 12.1 points average, rebound 2.9, assists 4.5, and his three-point percentage at 384.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a lonely draft party for FVV, you know, considering he didn't get drafted. So he signed with us back in 2016 as an undrafted free agent. Since then, through the tutelage of Kyle, you know, he's really shown that, you know, he can run a team. I mean, there were times where everyone thought he was gone in free agency because every team wanted to add an FVV. I'm happy he's here. Definitely deserves to be at number 10 with everything that he's put on the line. I mean, literally, he won a game alone in Golden State for that championship run, and he factored into every game that series. So I can't see any reason why Fred VanVleet is not on this list.
Absolutely. So Freddie has had such an impact on this team, you know, in the 905 recognized down there. Bench mob was a big thing he brought to the table with Pascal and company. His heart is just absolutely huge. He's got a lot of passion for the game, and coming up under Kyle has been absolute, you know, amazing to see him and his growth and his development in this league. He's a dog. He's going to be here for a long time, and he's going to have a significant impact with Kyle moving down to Miami and him getting the official starting role at the guard position. So,
I mean, there's a lot of guys that we're missing off this list. A lot of guys that, you know, a lot of people might not even know who they were. But just for what he's done, we couldn't not include him on this list. So that's why he came in at 10. There were some variables that kind of maybe could have pushed him off the list, but he's got to be a 10.
We had a lot of guys on the bubble at the 10 position. So kudos to Freddie. We love you, man. We're looking forward to seeing you really take it into your own this season and help to develop the other young talent on our team. And I know that he will. Okay, coming in at number 9. Number 9 is none other than Spicy P, Pascal Siakam, 332 games, points, 14.3 points, rebounds at 5.8, assists 2.7, and 3-point percentage 0.325.
Now, Pascal gets a lot of slack put on him because of obviously some deficiency in his game since the bubble hit. But you have to remember, this guy won the most improved player. The guy does have a chip. He does have an all-star under his belt. And I don't think the championship team that we had maybe has gotten as far as it would if Pascal wasn't that second option scorer behind Kawhi. So I don't see any reason why he can't be on this list, and he is set to take off this year.
Yeah. So I have been obviously a proponent, and you've seen on the show if you've watched us, and please hit that subscribe button so you can continue to follow and join our content. I hate Pascal's contract. It's one thing that I just am not a big fan of. However, Pascal was a significant contributor in 2019, and yes, that might have been to Kawhi getting double teamed, but he is a significant person to this franchise. He is a cornerstone piece. He's not a piece that's going to be moved anytime soon, and he's going to help usher in these new young guys into what the system and the Raptors look like. I think his impact is still, developing, and he's going to have more impact as it goes on, but he is well respected in the community, which he does a lot of involvement with, again, coming up through the 905 system where there's a lot of acclaim there as well.
Now, I mean, he was drafted in 2016 in the first round, 27th pick overall. I mean, if you were to look at the 17 draft, the 18 draft, the 19 draft, and tell me what the 27th pick in those drafts has done for their team, probably not as much as Pascal has. So I think we got to cut him a little bit of slack. He's had a couple of off years, but I think now with the way the team is set up in this positionless basketball, it's going to do nothing but help him defensively as well as in the transition. So that's why he's on the list at 9.
Yeah, I agree. There's going to be a lot more room for opportunity for all these guys to score as they spread the floor, and a lot of these guys can do different things at every position. So let's move on to number 8. Okay, so at number 8, we have Jonas Valanciunas, 470 games as a Raptor, 11.8 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 0.7 assists with a 3-point percentage of 370.
So we drafted him in the first round of the 2011 draft. He was the 5th pick overall out of Lithuania. A lot of people scratched their heads. They thought it might have been another one of those missed European picks. JD started off slow with us, but he definitely came into his own. And if we didn't trade him and get the return that we did, maybe we don't win that championship. But he's a fan favorite. He did a lot in the community, and absolutely loved him as a Raptor. And I still love him, in the league right now. He's on a good team in a good position. Did just get traded, but we'll see what happens with him.
Look, I absolutely appreciate JV's contribution to the Raptors. When he was here, if you get him the ball in the first 3 quarters of the game, very, very efficient, especially in the first quarter. And on the fourth quarter, his hands seemed to go a little bit jelly. But he did have an impact through those years with DeRozan and company, and he played his position very, very well. And I just wish that he would have been able to stick around. But, that trade ultimately made us better and got us to where we were getting positioned to win a championship.
Now, I mean, obviously, the success factor wasn't really there. A lot of missed opportunities in the playoffs, but, this kid kept coming and kept getting better. He added that 3-point shot. He definitely matured as a player, and you can see all of that hard work he put in is kind of paying off right now. I mean,
Absolutely.
When he was in Memphis, he was just out of this world. Double a night, guaranteed, and him and Ja worked really well together. But, we'll see how the rest of his career works out, but as a Raptor, he's definitely loved.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, moving on to number 7. Okay, so at number 7, we have Alvin Williams. This guy was a complete soldier. Games, 417 points, 9.3 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 4.3, and 315 from beyond the arc.
Now, if you don't know who Alvin Williams is, this is a guy who may not have put the scoreboard on fire, but what he didn't do was make mistakes. When he got the ball and his opportunity to shoot, he rarely missed. So we got him in 1998 with a trade with the Portland Trailblazers, where we sent Carlos Rogers, Damon Stoudemire, and Walt Williams to Portland for Alvin Williams, Kenny Anderson, Gary Trent, two first round picks and a second round pick in 1998. So, I mean, absolute haul for what we got in return. But I'll tell you that he was absolutely crucial to those Vince Carter teams, and they're competing in the playoffs, as seen here against the 76ers. Of course, they didn't get any further than the conference semis, but Alvin Williams has been a huge part of the community here in Toronto. He still talks on local radio all the time and still loves the Raptors.
Yeah, look, Alvin Williams, pardon me. Alvin Williams was Kylelowry before Kylelowry was Kylelowry. This man was a guy who would put his body on the line, help lead his team. He was a solid defender overall, and I really appreciated his ability and contribution to help lead through those teams. You know, Vince Carter, as good as he was, I'm not sure that he was a natural-born leader, and that's where Alvin Williams came in to help out in those areas.
So again, I think for his contributions and the fact that he's the continued support for Toronto and what he did while he was here, and the success, albeit not massive, but there was success there. That's why we have him here on the list.
Most definitely. Okay, moving on to number 6. Number 6 is none other than Chris Bosh. Had 509 games as a Raptor, 20.2 points, rebounds 9.4, assists at 2.2, and beyond the arc, he was 298.
I mean, 5-time All-Star. We drafted him in 2003 with the 4th overall pick. Dude's in the Hall of Fame. He's got chips. He had several points in his career as a Raptor where he put that team on its back to win the division. It's very hard to not have him on this list for the time that he spent here and the notoriety that he gained. Obviously, he blossomed when he left to Miami, but at the same time, there's no reason why Chris Bosh shouldn't be on this list.
Yeah, agree. Chris Bosh, I'm not sure that the right team members were around him at the time where he was starting to peak. That was really the challenge for him on the Raptors, hence the reason why he left. Chris Bosh is a great player. As you mentioned, he's a 2-time champion, so he's absolutely crucial. He re-signed here. It was important that he wanted to stay in Toronto at that point in time and helped us build us to where we ended up ultimately going, winning a championship in 19. He was a part of bringing some talent here as well.
Now, Chris Bosh was what I call a transition star. So he was that transition piece in Toronto between Vince Carter and when Lowry and Depot got here. He held that team in check competitively and relevant, as we saw not many teams, but the only other team that was in Canada, mediocrity, and it led to it leaving. So Chris Bosh was at a very important time in Raptors history where he kept that team where it needed to be. And the guy's in the Hall of Fame. He's got to be on the list.
Yeah, absolutely. And, without him filling that void between those eras, who knows where the Toronto Raptors franchise would have been without him. Okay, coming in at number 5. 1995 Rookie of the Year, Damon Stoudemire, 200 games played, 19.6 points, 4.1 rebounds, 8.8 assists, which is tremendous, and 3 points beyond the arc, 360.
Now, Mighty Mouse, he was the Raptors' first ever draft pick. He did win Rookie of the Year that year. He helped kind of usher in the Raptors to the rest of the world and Canada and Toronto specifically. We took him, it was the 7th overall pick in 95 out of Arizona. Outside of his departure from here, he only played a few seasons, but his importance of setting the tone for the Raptors was there. I think Isaiah Thomas had the right idea in drafting him, but because of the importance of that first ever pick, that's why he's on the list.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt that Stoudemire brought attention to a expansion franchise when the Toronto Raptors and Vancouver Grizzlies were ushered into the NBA. It's certainly important for the history of the Raptors that he was able to get that attention and win Rookie of the Year, as without him on the team, I'm not sure the Raptors would have been noticed in this first couple of seasons. So very, very important, Damon Stoudemire, the Mighty Mouse. And as you know, when Lowry was in the championship parade, what jersey was he wearing? Damon
Stoudemire. First pick, first Rookie of the Year ever in franchise history. That's why he's on the list.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on to number 4. At number 4, we have none other than the greatest trade in Raptor history, Kawhi Leonard, the Claw, 60 games played, 26.6 points, rebounds 7.3, assists 3.3, and 3-point percentage 371.
Kawhi Leonard, 2019 trade, him and Danny Green coming here, DeMar Jakobin, a first-round pick, going the other way. The most important piece here is that a championship came from his hands at the end of the day. He was Finals MVP. His 1 year in Toronto yielded an All-Star appearance, a chip, and Finals MVP. So, I mean, success is the one dictating factor here. That's why he's on the list.
Absolutely. His impact to this franchise was the greatest and short-lived of any Raptor. As you can see in this iconic photo here, this is one of the photos and last shots and buzzer beaters in history that will go down all time. Everybody is looking at this and mind is blown. And that's the impact that he had on the game. He did things that dropped your jaw. And Kawhi Leonard, had he only stayed, it could have been a lot of potential for us to continue winning championships and being extremely competitive in the playoffs. We thank you, Kawhi.
End of the day, championship trophy is north of the border for him and the rest of the team. But if that trade doesn't get made, we probably don't win it. So there's no reason why this guy's not on the list where he is.
Absolutely. Okay, at number 3. None other than DeMar DeRozan, 675 games played, 19.7 points, rebounds at 4.1, assists 3.1, and three-point percentage 288.
I mean, what can't you say about this guy? Drafted in 2009, first round, 9th over pick out of USC, the comp 10. This man wore the city on his heart, on his sleeve. He repped it wherever he went out, obviously not when he was in Compton, but this guy epitomized what it was to be a Raptor. He was here during some lean years. He was kind of ushered in when Kyle showed up. They really had some magic together, but playoff losses and unfortunate series getting swept, but he still came back with a smile and a hunger. And the guy's got a deadly mid-range game that's tough to compete with in the NBA outside of him. I mean, he's the mid-range game that I got, the guy that I want. So that's why I've got him here on the list.
Look, DeRozan's impact to the Toronto Raptors, signing back with us, keeping this team in check, building that relationship with Kyle. He kept Raptor basketball exciting through the mid-90s. He was our star player, lots of all-star appearances, great mid-range, as you mentioned, and his impact to the team, was very heartfelt. Unfortunately, when he left, there was a lot of upset fans, even getting such a great piece like Kawhi coming back the other way. It was a heartbreaking loss for a lot of Toronto Raptors fans, but definitely deserves to be in the top 3, and hence he's at number 3.
I mean, what can you say about his tenure here? Everything that he brought us, his heart was here. He didn't want to go. He was upset when he left. But, at the end of the day, him leaving brought us our championship. But outside of that, spectacular human being, did a lot of work in the community here, as well as his success as a Raptor, and that's why he's cemented at 3 on the list.
Okay, moving on to number 2. No surprise here. Vince Carter, 403 games, 23.4 points, 5.2 rebounds, 3.9 assists, at 383 from three-point percentage. Half man, half amazing.
Drafted 1999, traded on draft day for Anton Jameson. What a trade. What a quiet trade. What a quiet trade that was.
Yep.
This man electrified and excited the entire country with what he did. People didn't really know who he was on draft day, but within the first, I'd say 15, 16 games, they understood what Vince Carter was about. This man did a lot of community work. He built a lot of the inroads that you see in Basketball Canada, and the fact that there's a crap ton more Canadian kids playing basketball. It's because of this guy. They built courts because of him, because people wanted to play basketball. Very important for a franchise that was ushering in a new millennium, and this guy was at the driver's seat. Tons of success with those teams, heartbreaking playoff losses, but there is nowhere else for Vince to be on this list than at number 2.
Listen, when Vince Carter would drive the lane, you knew something special was going to happen. His ability to jump, even at this age, he can still throw it down. And I think he's 43, recently retired. Incredible impact, put Toronto on the map. He opened up or was co-owner of a club downtown Toronto. And when NBA players came here, they wanted to go to Vince's club. He had a significant impact on the city of Toronto, the nightlife, etc., the culture that is Toronto today. I mean, there's no reason he shouldn't be where he is right here at number 2.
He's Air Canada. End of story.
Yeah. Okay, so we have reached our number 1. I don't think there's going to be too many surprises here. So let's just get right into it. At number 1, Kylelowry, the GOAT, 601 games as a Raptor, 17.5 points, 4.9 rebounds, 7.1 assists, and 377 from three-point land.
Came over in 2012 with a trade with Houston. We gave up Gary Forbes and a first. This man leads all playoff statistical categories other than free throws made, which he's 2nd, and blocks, which he's 8th. This man wore that jersey with absolute pride, carried himself as a true professional. Even when people got down on him, he still carried on as a true professional. This man saw glory and heartbreak in Toronto, lost his best friend through a trade, but was rewarded with a championship. Kylelowry, doesn't matter how many more years go by, he is going to be the greatest Raptor of all time.
Listen, there's no way that Kylelowry does not get his jersey retired as the first Raptor to get his jersey retired in the now Scotiabank Center Arena. Kylelowry has put his body on the line above all. This man takes so many charges, it's absolutely unreal. There's times when Kyle would have missed a shot. He's coming right back and he's putting that dagger right down your throat. This guy is absolutely unbelievable. He's going to have such an impact in Miami. In fact, that they're calling, the sign and trade with him as the best deal in the offseason. Kylelowry is going to wear any team that he plays for on his sleeve. He's going to put his back on the line, everything on the line to win. He's done so much for the community in Toronto, loved the city. And, he's just an incredible human being at the end of the day.
This guy will probably come back and end up working with Masai to continue building championship
100%.
teams in Toronto. But if you're a Raptors fan and you don't have him at the list, I'd love to know who you do have at the list. In fact, leave us a comment below. Let us know who your number 1 top 10 all-time is. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention these 4 guys. So these are the 4 guys that were on the bubble. First was Antonio Davis.
Huge impact.
History, huge impact. He was 4th in rebounds and 5th in blocks all-time Raptors history. Doug Christie. He hasn't played in God knows how long. He's still 2nd in steals. And then Amir Johnson, he just didn't. He wasn't there at the right time, I think. But the talent that he was, he's 2nd in blocks all-time. And then Mo Pete, 3rd in games played, 2nd in 3 points made. It was just tough to have him squeeze past a couple of those guys at the end of the list. But nonetheless, all 4 of those guys were very important to this franchise. And I think our top 10 is pretty precise.
It's pretty solid. Some people might consider Tracy McGrady, very, very short tenure here. Great player, but he became great when he left. Just not enough to impact the franchise. And there really was a community absence with Tracy McGrady as well.
100%.
So that's it. That's our Toronto Raptors all-time top 10. Definitely, like Junior said, let us know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Please like this video and pass it and share it along to whoever else. We'd love to hear what you guys think. And if you have somebody different, please let us know. Junior, final thoughts.
Oh, I'm just excited to see what happens for the rest of this training camp and get the season started. And there might be a guy in there who could end up landing himself on the top 10 list in a few years.
I like where you're thinking. It might have been that number 4 pick.
It could have been. Chris Bosh is on here.
And he was the 4th. He was the last time we picked number 4. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you, everybody, for watching our video here. The Raptors Den, courtesy of Offside and Out of Bounds. Follow us on our IG page at Offside and Out of Bounds. I am Adam.
I'm Junior.
And we're going to see you real soon.